Welcome back to Playing on the J-File, everyone. The program where we look at games I've played against notable opponents, as well as notable games I've played against anyone. All right, so lately we've been looking at the U.S. Amateur Team East. I'll be playing in that tournament in a couple of weeks once again. It's the annual tournament held in Parsippany with, something like 1,300 chess players or so. There's a whole lot of teams, 300 teams roughly that play in this tournament, 4-player teams. So last time we looked at my game from the 2020 U.S. Amateur Team East, where I sacrificed a queen against an expert. So if you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and check it out. It was the last episode. Today we're going to look at my first win against a master. That came in 1999. His name is Tom Dorsch. He was rated 2240, and I was rated about 1930 or so. So let's take a look at the game. I played e4, my usual move. If you haven't figured that out by now, he played c5, going for the Sicilian defense. I played knight f3. He plays knight f6, and what's this, d3? This is going to be switching into my favorite opening at that time, the King's Indian attack. It was good for Bobby Fischer, right? So I must have seen some book somewhere about that. So I decided if it's good for Fischer, it's good for me. It probably wasn't quite as good for me as it was for him. All right, g3, I'm going to fianchetto the king bishop. Mr. Dorsch plays g6. I fianchetto the bishop with bishop g2. He decides that looks like a good idea. I'll do the same thing. All right, so we're kind of doing the same thing with our king position here. I play knight on the queen knight to d2. He comes out with d5. This is all pretty standard stuff. I play rook e1. And he plays e5. So we have a bit of a standoff in the center, right? Pawns are there facing each other. When to take, when to hold off. That is the eternal question. I don't usually get it right, but let's see. How'd I do this time? c3, okay. Decent enough. I'm just going to keep biding my time there, see what's going to happen in the center. He plays rook e8, and I play queen e2, and I'm the first one to kind of mess this up because now the engine says I should have taken on d5 and I'd have an equal game. But no, instead I play queen e2 and he plays d4. So he moves up. He's got some more space in the center. I play c4, so I close up the center. Probably not a great idea for me. He plays a6. I play knight f1. This is the characteristic thing. You want to, white in the King's Indian attack wants to get this knight over to the king side. Typically, white is going to play h4 and then play this knight to h2 and so on and so on. But it didn't quite go that way in this game. He plays b5. He's getting his queenside counterplay going. This is the characteristic thing. Black wants to move up on the queen side while white moves up on the king side. I play b3. White plays queen b6. Black plays queen b6, and everything's looking pretty good for him. Not quite as good for me. I play knight h4, so I vary from the standard approach, which, as I said before, is for white to play h4. I don't play it here. Don't remember why. It was 1999, so almost 30 years ago. What does he do? He plays knight to d7, so he is looking at perhaps countering my intended f4 with doing something or other on the f-file himself. So there it is. I play f4. I'm going for space on the f-file instead of doing it on the h-file like I was supposed to. He plays f6, and that I don't believe was the best for him. He was supposed to play a5 instead. Okay, just keep marching up with his queenside stuff. And this is kind of an example of what I've talked about before in the program, is that when you have an attack going on one wing and your opponent has an attack going on the other wing, sometimes you just want to ignore your opponent's attack and just keep going with your attack here. So black should have just played a5. Instead, he plays f6. Not a major thing. I play f5, not good for me. Okay, so I needed to maintain the tension in the center, but instead give black an opportunity to close up the king side. black plays g5. What am I going to do? I'm going to play knight f3. That's really the only thing I can do. And what have I got now? Not a whole lot. But black has his queenside attack. I don't really have any breaks on the king side, so my opening has not gone well. What do we got here? Now I play h4, which also is not good. Needed to play bishop d2, and then I can still hang on. Equal game according to the engine. But this actually, h4, is the point in which I allow black to close everything up, which he does with g4. Gotta move my knight on 3 to h2. Actually, yeah. So the knight on 3 goes to h2. The computer points out an interesting line. Well, first of all, the computer says that I have basically really played this opening poorly. But my best shot here, knight g5. Give up the knight. Pawn takes on g5. I take back on g5. And then my little sort of edge here is that I've got this passed pawn. Maybe I'm threatening f6. So I've got some possibilities. But the reality of the situation is I gave up a piece for only one pawn. So I'm busted either way. Didn't matter. This was just the computer felt was my best shot. But still not good enough. Story of my life. Okay, h5 locks it all up for black. I play bishop d2. He plays knight b4, so black really is all over my queen side now. He's just can do what he wants. He's threatening wicked fork here, knight c2, so I got to do something about that, right? So I bring my rook over to c1 to forestall that possibility, and he marches right ahead with a4. So black, again, doing very well. He's got all the play in the position. He owns the queen side. I play a3 to push that knight back, and he plays knight c6. But what did he have here? Did he have he may have had a sacrifice here. Interesting move is b takes c4. I take on b4, and then he takes back on b3. So I take back on c5, knight takes c5, and then we've got this position which actually looks pretty scary for me. Black didn't go that way though. Instead, after a3, he plays his knight to c6. I take on a4, and he takes with his rook. That was a big mistake, and this kind of leads the game back into equal channels. Believe it or not, he needed to play b takes c4. I used to think, when I was young and naive, that a chess game, normally just you get an advantage and then you nurse that advantage and you win. Or you do really poorly, you have a disadvantage in the game, and you lose. And that's what I used to think. Now, though, I'm old and naive, and it's pretty clear that most of the chess games I experience are seesaw battles that go back and forth. Okay, at one point white is winning, another point black is winning, and that's kind of what happened here. So I play rook takes c4 in this line, which didn't come up in the game. And then, rook takes c4. He plays bishop a6, and black is just crushing me. Okay, the rook has to move. Black has all the play in the position. These pawns on the a file are weak. So that's the way black needed to go to keep his advantage. But instead, after I take on a4, he took with his rook on a4, and this gave me some possibilities. Now I play rook b1, pinning the b5 pawn, right? So it can't take on c4 now because the queen would hang. He plays bishop a6. Okay, so that's good for him. I play queen d1, but I missed my shot here. I had to take my shot. Missed my shot. Okay, I needed to play knight takes g4, h takes g4, queen takes g4. Now white is doing well. The piece sacrifice is much better in this situation because the pass pawn here on the h file can march, and I've just got a lot of shots. The black king is looking vulnerable. But instead, I don't play that piece sac. What do I play? I play queen d1, and I am not doing so well. Black plays rook b8. I play rook a2. Okay, So this was a mistake. Could not play rook a2. Needed once again. This knight takes g4 sack is still good. Didn't play it. Rook a2. He plays queen a7, and that's not the best for him. Instead, black had to play knight b4, a very interesting move that both of us missed. The a pawn is pinned. I can't take that knight, right? Plus, he's hitting my pawn on d3. The engine says black is just better here. Okay, but we instead, after a rook a2, black plays queen a7, and I play queen b3, which is a big mistake. So here, in this situation, I thought I was threatening this wonderful discovered check, right? Where I am threatening, it's not my move yet, but if it's my move, I'm threatening pawn takes on b5, which would be a discovered check from the queen to the king on g8, right? But in fact, black has a perfectly good counter move, which is just take the pawn. There is no actual pin here on the b pawn. I thought that this move was impossible, and black thought it too, because I would just take the rook. But here's the part that we both missed. Black takes my rook, and if I take his knight on c6, looks like white's doing okay, but guess what? c3 decides everything. My bishop, where's it going to go? The bishop on d2. I'll tell you where it's going to go. Nowhere. It has no place to go. There's no safe square for the bishop. The c-pawn is about to score. So this is a losing situation for white. The pin backfires on me here. Okay, so instead, black actually played king h7. There we go. So black plays king h7 to remove the threat of the discovery. For a long time, I had actually thought that that was the losing move, but it turns out the losing move comes a little bit later. So now I take on b5, and black plays bishop takes b5. That's another mistake. He could have played rook takes b5, and then he saves the game. It's an equal game. Once again, if I take the rook on a4, black takes the rook on b1. We are equal. Instead, what do we have after this? King h7, I take. He takes with the bishop because he thought that his rook was hanging if he took with the rook. I play queen f7. Now white is better, much better. I've gotten to his king before he could get to mine. He plays bishop takes d3, so he wins a pawn, hits my rook. His last chance to hold on, though, was knight f8. If he plays knight f8, I play queen takes h5 check, and black then needs to play king g8. And what happens now? Well, white is going to, let's say I take this pawn, black can take the pawn on d3, and this is roughly an equal game according to the engine. So it didn't go that way. Knight f8 was not played. Instead, black played bishop takes d3, and that was, as we say, the last chance to save things. We exchange rooks on the b file. Now I take on h5 with a check. He plays king g8. I take knight takes g4. The king is in grave danger. It's overexposed. There's not really anything black can do to save himself. He's going to try and run with the c-pawn and hope that he can get that in before he gets mated, but it's not happening. Knight h6 check. He has to take the knight. He can't let that knight stay there. Takes on h6. I take back with the bishop, constraining the king and getting ready to really finish him off. He plays knight f8. I play queen g4 check. Black plays king f7. Now I play queen g7 check, and that is all she wrote, because the knight on f8 is history. and the pawn is not going anywhere. So that was it. That was my first victory ever against a master. Tom Dorsch rated 2240 in the round 5 of the 1999 U.S. Amateur Team East. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, hit the subscribe button and do all that good stuff. And I will see you next time on Playing on the J-File.